Woke up in a lucid dream. Now we're hunting for the shards. We might be an oddball team, but at least we've got no bards. World walkers.
Hi, my name is Megan McKay. I'm playing Tin, who is a female forged fighter and a gunslinger. I live in Texas, and you can find my work at doodleforfood.com and onetruedino.com.
Hi, I'm Olivia Welch, and I'll be playing the character Ertlebee, who is a grandma and also a gunslinger. She's a druid, but she doesn't know it. She just thinks she's really good at gardening. You can find my work at imagingquest.net.
Hello, my name is Enzo. I do the comic Cheer Up Emo Kid and Dungeon Construction. You can find them at cheerupemokid.com and dungeon.construction. I'm from Canada, and I play a character named Roberto, who is a 6-foot-tall man of metal who is also a ranger.
Hi, my name is Jane. I draw the webcomic The Pigeon Gazette, which you can find at thepigeongazette.tumblr.com. I play Vassa, who is a human female rogue.
Hi, my name is Wesley Hall, and I play the dwarven wizard Brummelstone Hammerstorm. I make the comic Nameless PCs, found at namelesspcs.com.
My name is Pedro, and I'm the Dungeon Master and creator of the podcast. In our first episode, 5 strangers from different worlds were summoned to a tavern deep within the dreaming world. There, they were asked to help save both the dreaming and the waking world from being devoured by living nightmares. If you haven't listened to the first episode yet, here's a musical recap courtesy of Olivia and her ukulele.
We started in a tavern. We each made some new friends, but instead of waking up, we're in a dream that might not end. We met the king of dreams, he said. The dreaming tree was screwed unless we find the shards. The waking world is doomed. World walkers.
Before we start, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for helping us have such a great launch. We've been waiting to share World Walkers for months, and we hope it's been worth the wait. We've got a lot more to share with you, so keep tabs on us over at facebook.com/worldwalkerspod, or you can check us out on Twitter at worldwalkerspod. Alright, let's get this thing going. So with that, is everybody heading towards the door then?
Yes.
Yeah.
You. Alright. So, you push open the door, and you all walk out, and soft, bright light hits your eyes. And as you leave the subtle yet welcoming atmosphere of the tavern, you open your eyes to see a splendid city of marvels before you. Cobblestone streets made of everything from gravel to precious metals make up the pathways of the city. The buildings come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, everything from archaic steeples with piles of oranges in the windows to magnificent mansions full of many rooms and chambers. There doesn't seem to be any sort of rhyme or reason to the placement of the buildings. Just as perplexing as the buildings are the people. There are noble knights in suits of armor composed of pajamas, and kids wearing the robes of archmages and dukes. Everyone seems content. You can't find an unhappy face in the crowd. As soon as you start to become somewhat comfortable with your surroundings, you notice there are a number of staircases in the city, in the middle of the street. They lead up to the city that's directly above you. The people and places in the sky are upside down. Or you are. You're not really sure anymore. One building in particular catches your eye, one that starts at the top and bottom of each city, reaching the full height available. It has many windows and a large, beautiful door etched with stars and trees that fill you with the sensation of inspiration. And as you kind of take that door in more and more and look at it, each of you gains a point of inspiration.
Where do we put this?
So, inspiration means that your character is able to cash that in to gain advantage on something. You can roll twice and take the better result.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking around and I say, no nightmares here, except for that outfit.
The pajamas on the armor dear, or those pants. You don't seem to have a butt region.
I'm just wondering out loud, like, how are we supposed to fight the nightmares if the king guy can't even fight the nightmares? Like,
That is a very valid question.
thought about that. We probably should have asked him when he was still here.
Someone didn't upset him.
He did seem a little nervous.
Well, I kind of reached out and I snagged the nearest dreamer passerby, and I say, "Good person, good morrow, fellow. Have you seen any nightmares around here?"
You kind of grab somebody, scruffy hair, completely disabled. They're wearing pajamas that don't match. They seem to be happy though, like as if like they're wearing the pajamas that they wanted to, because no one else is going to tell them how to wear pajamas. And he spins around and looks at you, and he says, "Nightmares in Mercurious? No. But this is a happy place. We don't even entertain such thoughts here."
Oh, well, where would we go if we wanted to entertain such thoughts?
Just kind of stares at you. You want nightmares?
Why don't you tell us more about Mercurius?
Mercurious.
Mercurius. I'm sorry, we're new here. And if you can tell us anything about that tower, that amazing tower in the center, I would love more information.
Oh, well, I guess you're in Mercurious if this is your first time. Can certainly show you around. There's a lot of amazing things here. This is kind of a bastion for people who are lost in their dreams. So maybe that's why you don't know why you're here, because you got lost, which is totally acceptable. But once you're here, it's a lot easier to find your way back. It leaves quite the impression, to be honest. So yeah, welcome. There's a lot to experience here. It's a wonderful, beautiful city, and a number of us don't leave, especially after the destruction of Stardust. We were very lucky to find this home. Yeah, what was the other question about the building?
What's the tower in the middle? I would point to the large tower that goes right up and down, that like connects the two.
Well, that's the architect's building.
What's in there? I mean, other than an architect.
That's about it as far as I know. I don't get to go in there. No one goes in there. Just the architect, Tompkins.
We were sent here by a nice man, King Kevin, and he said we needed to find another person. Do you think it could be this Tompkins? He said he would, I think, lead us somewhere.
He thinks for a second. He says, "King, you mean
Kevin."
He thought for a second he
dreams.
was the King of Dreams. And he looks around and he's like, "Are you talking about Patch?"
Oh,
Patch.
Yeah,
As
told
you-
us the wrong name.
As you think about it, the cloak that he was wearing actually had a large patch on it, like it had been damaged, and he had stitched it up with a different piece of clothing.
Of course we mean Patch.
Yes, what she said.
And people start to gather around you, and they're like, you know Patch, and they start throwing different names. Like somebody says, "You know Patch," and somebody else says, "You know the King of Dreams," and someone else says, "You know the Endless Slumber." Like they're all kind of gathering around, fascinated.
Oh,
Well, and then I
Gave
kind
us
of
that.
This is
sweep my
uncomfortable.
arms around. I was like, "Of course, he has personally summoned us here to go on a glorious mission, and we are looking for another such chosen to help us along our way. Where might we find this special someone, do you think? The specialist of you all."
And this kid steps forward, and he kind of lets air fill his chest, along with pride and assumption, and he kind of fixes his wizard robes, and he cracks his fingers like way too many times. Like he shouldn't be able to develop arthritis this fast, but here he is, right? And he looks around, and he goes, "It is I. I am the most specialist of specialists here.
I kinda
What
look at
can
him
I
and
do for
say,
you, madame, or milady,
I
whatever you
say-
prefer?"
Have you stopped wetting the bed yet?
Damn.
What can I do for you?
Making friends.
Like, he's very nervous now. He's like, he cut right to the heart. He shot right through the heart.
Damn. And you're
Well,
too
I
blank.
kind of crouch down to eye level with this little guy, and I go, "And where would you be leading us, oh mighty wizard?"
And he just... You can interrupt this at any point you want to, but he reaches out and kind of just lightly brushes your cheek, and he's like, wherever you would like to go.
I reach across and I grab his cheek and give it a nice motherly hard twist. I about face him, slap him on the butt, push him back in the crowd, and I go, who else is a specialist of special?
The crowd does not rise to the occasion, but after that display. But the person you were originally talking to was like, again, I think you're probably looking for Tompkins, the guy that built this place. He's the only one that knows Patch.
Alright, let's go. Let's just listen to the homeless guy. Let's go to that building.
I believe
I don't have a homeless status. I live with the oranges. And he kind of walks away.
Oh.
He goes to the steeple.
Friends made zero.
But the rest of the crowd kind of follows you unnecessarily.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Ignore them.
We've got followers, my good friends.
Roberto doesn't like this at all. He doesn't like large crowds. Can I like slowly, just gently push all of them as wide as I can? Just go away.
Yeah.
Systematically pushes these people aside.
I would see my brother at uncomfort, so I would start snarling meanly like a dwarf. I have a large warhammer, pulling it out.
Oh.
People give you as much space as they think they need to. That's about it.
I'm just escorting Ertlebee closer towards the tower destination. I'm just like, whatever, unfazed by the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother. We'll get through this. Sure,
Yeah.
it won't all be like this.
Hopefully.
You can
They're
feel
out of reach.
Tin can feel your back shift a little bit as it feels like someone's trying to pull something away from you.
I spin around and I'm like, the fuck?
Oh.
I mean, I don't say that, but
You give that look.
Yeah, the fuck look. Yes, you turn around and it's one of the kids is reaching for your firearm and he's like, "What's that?"
I seeing that it's a kid, I step back out of the way and it's like, it's a very dangerous weapon. Do not touch it.
Because it looks like a sword that someone accidentally tried to make into a crossbow and they messed up and it doesn't really. I don't get it.
And then I just said, you don't have to get it. You just don't need to touch it.
He's flabbergasted. He
Sorry,
pulls
I guess
back.
I'm a little cranky today.
I'm just thinking like, oh, do you want a demonstration? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, I say these things, but it's in a way that it's stern, but I'm not like being a butt. I'm a little
Tired of their shit.
All right, so yeah,
I kind of comment aside to Ertlebee and I say, how dangerous can it be when she ain't got no arrows?
I hadn't even noticed that. But very good eye.
But you recognize it, right, Ertlebee?
I recognize
the rifle.
Oh yeah, no, I'm keeping that to myself,
Okay,
of course. The fact that I recognize that as associated with another one of the gunslinging teachers from my planet, the steampunk world of Cog. A gunslinging teacher who is not my teacher, Ben Manley.
So yeah, you make your way through the crowd. People push and give, and then you make yourself available to the door. And what do you guys do?
I reach out and I knock crisply.
Mm-hmm. You get no response.
I kind of turn around and say, nobody's home. And then I point to Roberto and I'm like, big thing, break down this door.
I'm not adverse. I don't disagree with that, but I kind of look to my dwarf brother and I'm like, should I I don't have a problem doing it, but I don't know if this is socially acceptable among humans.
Check if it's unlocked first, and if it's not, kick it down.
Okay. I
Time
gently
is of the essence.
I gently but not so gently push on the door.
It opens.
Oh.
The
Maybe.
big thing solved it.
All right.
What a smart robot.
Robot.
So
They prefer forged. I'm sorry. Gingerly whisper to the humans. They prefer forged.
Okay, dearie. I will remember that from now on.
Thank you.
So you walk into the building, and again, the height stretches all the way to the upper city above you. When you walk in, you're kind of perplexed to find that you kind of figured when you walked in you would be on the first floor, right? There is no real first floor. There are a series of platforms. The building is much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And there are ropes, and there are ladders, there are slides. And the slides start high and then end on a very dramatic curve, so that if you went down the slide, you would shoot upwards eventually. And all of these platforms lead up to a certain point, and then the situation's reversed. And there's dozens of platforms and ropes that are hanging to you upside down. And the whole process kind of repeats all the way there. It looks like a cross between an obstacle course and a playground. Throughout this whole place, you also see dozens and dozens of blueprints, designs and ideas for different weird buildings that could be built in this area. Drafting tables all over, almost as if the person can't be bothered to just have one. Like, if they're going to work, they're going to work where they want to. They're not going to make the effort to go all the way to the drafting table. So there's various spots for this person to work. Besides that, the other thing that you find intriguing is you find these little mechanical spheres, and they have a number of legs. They have about 6 legs, thin, pencil-thin legs, and they have kind of like in the middle of the sphere, they have a thin line, and they also have they have these 2 arms that are also kind of pencil-thin, and they have 6 fingers each that kind of have the freedom to expand and move however they want to. And there's another slit going around the top, kind of vertically on the sphere, and you can see that those arms could travel either one of those circuits and kind of move wherever they need to be. And they're cleaning up. There are a lot of pillows all over the floor that need to be picked up. There are a lot of artist tools that need to be reorganized and stuff, and there's blueprints that are being reorganized and taken to shelves, and then other fresh papers are being brought out and placed down so that they can be worked on immediately. And they don't seem to pay attention to you at all. They're just moving around. Some of them are made of brass, silver, all kinds of different metals. Some of them are emerald. It's pretty haphazard what material they're made of.
Rebelstone will run over and kind of start like picking one up to see if he can figure out like the magic that works behind it. Like they are like kind of small. He's just fascinated by it.
Yep, give me a knowledge arcana check.
I can do that. I did not get 10.
10. You're not quite sure. You just kind of take a look at it and it doesn't make logical sense.
Can I try to talk to it? Hello? Like, will it acknowledge me?
It doesn't acknowledge you. It keeps going on about its business. If you get in its way, it calmly moves around you and keeps shuffling around it. If you were to really try to block it, it would just climb over you. Like, its legs and arms are extremely versatile. And if need be, it'll flip and walk on its hands if it has to.
Okay.
If it needs that level of dexterity.
Can I grab hold of one?
Yeah. It's pretty easy. You just go pick it up, and it keeps walking, and then eventually it stops, and it just goes limp.
Oh, so I can pick it up.
Yep. Yeah, you've got it in your hand. It's extremely light. It feels like you're holding a cloud that you can somehow hold in your hand.
What happens when I go like slowly? I just slowly start.
Slowly start to crush it.
Yeah.
You're a
Nothing.
monster.
It's solid. You're not getting anything out of it.
Oh, but like what? Okay. Like nothing. What if I completely crush it?
You can't. But you can. I mean, you can make a strength check if you really want to go for this.
Oh no. Yeah,
Like, if you.
Can I look around for any person or bell or gong or anything that would be used to signal somebody else?
Yep. There. If you take a look around and study enough, you see someone making their way, sort of to you, or they're making their way. From their perspective, they're making their way up. From your perspective, they're making their way down. This person is kind of climbing ropes and jumping from ledge to ledge. Eventually, they get to a big spiral staircase, right? And they start walking up the staircase, kind of looking at you, interested, excited. Once he gets close to what you think is the middle of the building, he actually has to kind of fall into your area. So, like, he does a handstand and lets gravity take him, and then he kind of effortlessly kind of like flips forward until now he's to you right side up, and he's kind of quickly running down the stairs. He's not freaking out. He's just kind of like, they're expecting me. I gotta get down there. Who's this? Yeah. So eventually he comes down the staircase, hits a few more platforms. It's such an extreme process. Like, maybe you were impressed at first. This is taking forever. There's got to be a better way. If this is the architect, he has created quite a situation for himself. But he finally gets down there. It's Tompkins. Oops. The person you'd have to assume is Tompkins is a halfling of less than modest height. He has choppy blonde hair, a buckled maroon tunic, white shirt, and brown slacks. And anyone who has a perception higher than a 14 will notice that he also has simple gold bands, one on each hand, like on his ring fingers, essentially. And so he finally comes down there and walks up to you. He straightens himself up, and he fixes his hair, or he thinks he fixes his hair. There's no fixing his hair; it's disabled. And walks up to you and he says, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Are you Patch's friend by chance?
He looks around and says, "Yeah."
Oh, we are friends with Patches. We had snacks together, and he told us a very sad story, and he said we needed a guide.
She tells the truth. Are you Tompkins?
I am. Yeah, I'm Tompkins.
We are apparently lucid dreamers, sent to recover the pieces of the tree.
He kind of looks around. And he's like, "The tree is shattered."
Maybe this isn't the guy we're looking for.
No, I think it's the Stardust shards. The Stardust shards.
Rommel was not paying.
We're here
enough
to
attention.
save all of existence from the nightmares that
Yeah.
King Patch can't handle on his own.
Yes, that's right.
So he wants me to build you a building?
No, take us somewhere. Actually, this might not be the right guy. I don't know if Kevin was really clear in his instructions. Should we leave?
Maybe we're supposed to torture him.
Oh,
He's like, "Whoa, hold on." And he starts, like, ascending the stairs.
Oh no! Come back.
He's like,
Can I, like, really quickly try to go grab him by the scruff of his neck?
yeah, go ahead and give me a dexterity check, see if you can get up there and grab him.
Is that a 20?
It'd be a d20 and then add your dexterity bonus.
Okay. I got a 6 plus a 4 makes a 10.
Alright, so he kind of ducks underneath you. He ducks out of your grapple, essentially, and kind of runs up a few more stairs, and he's like, hold on. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So Patch needs you to talk to me about leaving?
Yes.
He needs us to talk to someone. You may be mistaken in who. surely you know of them.
I'm not trying to brag, but I'm the only person of notability here. And he says, well, I guess, okay, so but why me? Does he think I know where it is?
Do you know where it is?
I
Did
don't.
say you know where it is.
I mean,
Perhaps you could build something for us that will take us to places that have these pieces.
I mean, I know how to leave the city, but I don't ever leave the city.
Is it
Do
because
you-
you're afraid? Because you shouldn't be afraid to see new things, young man. There's the whole world out there.
Well, I mean, who's going to take care of my guys? And he kind of points at the little spheres that are walking around. These are my guys.
They don't really look like they need you.
You look pretty self-sufficient.
Their well-constructed, immaculate self-awareness and self-reliance in no way means that they don't need me.
I mean, it doesn't look like they need you, but Tompkins, we need you. You know
Aw.
Patches.
And he's kind of all
You know
shy now, and
Patches.
he's like, you guys.
And he sent us to you because he said Tompkins could help us. Only Tompkins.
Yes, only one.
Tompkins? Come on.
He didn't actually say that. No, you guys are fibbing.
Grandmother.
Did he say that I could show you the way out and then stay?
He said that would be up for debate when the time came. But sure, probably.
Well, I could show you the door out of here. Yeah, that's no problem.
Oh.
Ertlebee has picked up one of his guys, his little robots,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What a nice robot. I mean, forked. I am curious. Can these store information?"
Yeah. I just you just tell them stuff and they remember.
Can nightmares read information stored in something like this?
He just kind of stares and he says, "What?" And now he's looking a little more serious and he says, "What do you know about the nightmares?"
Only what Kevin told us. So basically nothing. But they're bad. I surmised.
Yeah, these are just made of dream stuff. They could probably devour them and learn what they want to know. But they don't know anything important. They just know what to build for me.
What do you know about the nightmares?
I know I was there when I used to live on Stardust. And yeah, I was there when they came, so I guess I know all of that.
Don't you want your home back?
He just kind of looks to the side, and he says, "Well, I didn't think we'd ever get our home back. Patch had me build this place instead. I spent a lot of time building this city. Actually, built the entirety of the city. I just never thought about the idea we'd be able to go back. I mean, is he trying to rebuild Stardust?"
Yep,
Yes.
that's what you're here for.
What is it? Because I actually missed that. That's what we're doing, right? Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, like I said, I can show you the door to the way out of the city, and hopefully that takes you where you need to go. But I don't know anything. I don't know where the shards are.
You can't build us something to find the shards?
Well, as far as I know, the shards... I mean, the shards are not safe here in the Dreaming, so I assume that Patch would have sent them off into the waking world. So I could build you something, just hope that it works when you get there, but it probably won't be able to take anything with you if you have to go into the waking world.
I'm confused. Vassa, what's going on? What's he saying?
The Dream King didn't plan very well, grandmother. We're trying to pick up the pieces. By the way, Tompkins, engineer extraordinaire,
Go on.
can you build anything that can kill nightmares?
I can build really great houses that they should not be able to get into, which is what I've been dedicating the rest of my life to.
Alright.
Mercurious should be fairly impenetrable.
Can you build armor that the nightmares can't penetrate?
Armor is really just like a tiny house.
Well, hold on a second. And he runs up the staircase, and he climbs up some ropes, and then he jumps and grabs a particularly long rope and lets it carry him until he kind of hits that gravity point, and it throws him into a pile of pillows, and you can hear the pillows kind of go like hee 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 hee, and he starts like rolling back and forth and like clearly being tickled by the pillows, and he's like, "Come on, you guys!" And he rolls out of the pillows, and he runs around, and he gets a couple of those little spheres together, and he talks to them for a little bit, and then they quickly run and they construct something, and then he repeats the process. Doesn't go the pillow route this time. It's not really necessary, and comes all the way down. And he says, "This is the best I can do, but I think you're going to like it." And he unfolds this two-dimensional construct that quickly unfolds into a house. And he puts it over Ertlebee. And then, as you expand your arms, the sides give way. And it's, he's like, "There you go, house armor. I never thought about making that before. But, yeah. That's pretty.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks you.
Okay.
This does not feel comfortable. You're not going to like the level of heat that you now will keep within this little house. It's too well insulated, Ertlebee, for you to feel any kind of comfort. You don't think it's going to protect you?
Suffocating her?
Not yet.
Well, this is a very nice present. Thank you. Does
anyone else want armor?
Maybe you can show us more about that building of how to get out of here.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move along.
Wait, I'm confused because Thompson, how old are you?
Tompkins.
Tompkins.
He kind of pretty old.
Pretty old. Like 2 digits?
Nope.
4.
3 digits?
No.
'Cause
I don't really know.
For someone who's so old, you're acting like a little bitch.
He just pulls himself back and he's like,
Normally, I don't approve, but she's right.
But let's just go find that door. Obviously, this isn't your scene. Mercurious is not a place for such negativity. And he opens the door, and he's ready to lead you guys out.
I just kind of motion the group along.
Tompkins is last try, I swear. But if you wanted to come, you could wear the house armor. I'm wearing it right now, but it's not very comfortable. No, I mean, it's very comfortable. But you would feel like you were in Mercurious, even though you'd be somewhere else, but still inside a very safe house.
Nah. He's just kind of shaking his head like,
Take care, then.
Well, he's going to walk you towards... Us. Yeah, he's going to lead you.
Oh, yeah, I'm following you, then.
So,
is there a way to return? Can we ask him if there's a way to return to Mercurious? Like, what happens when we find Stardust? We just want to be like, here you go, have piece A.
That's a great question. I don't know how... I mean, here, I could get you back to to patch when the time's right, but I'm not going with you, so good luck. And as he opens the door, he opens the door to the sounds of screaming, and you look outside as you see people running in terror. You see buildings have been warped and darkened. They don't seem to hold the shape they once held. Everything feels twisted and wrong and off. And as the people run, you see these kind of chaotic masses of all sorts of dark hues fighting for dominance. And as soon as he opens the door, they look, these like several black masses look at you, and they feel like they're way more focused than they were a second ago. And they start to try to take shape as they move towards you, and Tompkins shuts the door.
And I just go, so what might those be, those charming things?
He takes off running. He's running up the stairs, and he says, "This way."
I'm wearing a
follow
house.
I think we found night.
Okay, so can I take the house off of Ertlebee?
He's like, yeah. Ertlebee's got her arms kind of out, she can't really put them down, and she's kind of like ding 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 ding, like her little Flintstone run. And yeah, she with that house, you will so you'll have advantage when it comes to like sleeping, home insurance, but in terms of any kind of useful adventuring skills, you're going to suffer disadvantage to get the house off of you.
Yeah, so can I like lift the house off of Ertlebee and also kind of like lift her onto my back so that I can like piggyback her up the stairs and like chase after Tompkins?
You could, yeah. I would need a strength check though, and you're not. With Ertlebee's speed when she first came into the tavern, you're not sure if she needs the help.
That's true. I guess I sort of assumed it just because I see this little old lady.
Yeah.
I am bad with stairs sometimes, so it might not be the worst idea.
Yeah, so if you'd like to take a strength check,
yeah, I can.
You know what we'll do is you basically you can offer her help, and if she does need to make any checks, then she'll have advantage on those.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yep, you're right there with her. You're helping her along the way. But she's able to keep pace with you. But yeah, you're right there in case she needs more.
Okay. All right.
And
sorry, I'm a little confused. Did we go into the door or
no? Basically, the way it worked was that
he opened the door and just
Tompkins opened the door to chaos and then shut the door in a very nope-like fashion.
Like,
nope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then noped his way up the stairs.
Yeah,
okay,
and
okay.
I immediately, when Tompkins runs up the stairs, I just go, "Come on!" and I like go up the stairs as well after Tompkins.
As do I.
The rest of you following suit.
Yeah, I would pull out my crossbow.
All right, so you all start taking up off the stairs. The first couple of platforms are pretty easy to jump. There's not a lot of gap, but there is one particular platform where I'm going to need athletics checks from each of you.
Oh.
That's using dexterity?
It uses strength, actually.
Oh, fudge.
Yep. It's weird, right? Because like dexterity is always for balancing, and strength is always for like leaping and things.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a 5.
24.
I rolled a 2, but then I also have a -1, so I'm at a 1.
Well, wait, I helped Ertlebee. I'm helping her.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna roll again.
Okay.
That was noble of you to sacrifice yourself for her.
I got a 6, now I'm at a 5.
So you all run off, and
I got a 14.
okay, when you guys when you all reach that platform, there's a noticeable gap you're gonna have to make the jump for, and you get up to the edge, and Vassa extends help to Ertlebee and says, "All right, let's go." And she helps you make the jump, and you comically miss.
Oh no! Like
give me
those cat videos online.
Wiggle.
Ertlebee, give me a dex saving throw. It'd be a d20 plus your dexterity bonus, and if you're proficient in this skill, you'd get to add your proficiency bonus.
So I rolled a 2, but my dexterity is +4. So that's a 6 now, and I'm not proficient, so I'm at a 6.
Yeah. So
Not so nice.
you fall into a you fall into a nearby platform, and you take 1 damage, and kind of pick yourself up.
Ow.
Our first battler against the stairs.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Is that there is a perfectly legitimate set of stairs, but at some point. At some point, Tompkins left the stairs, and you kind of all followed because you thought he was going to take you someplace smart. He's just jumping the platforms because this is how he travels. So you're able on that platform, Ertlebee, to just get to the stairs if you want to.
I do that.
You started on the stairs. I need Vassa to make a dexterity save as well.
Yep. So I rolled a 18. My dexterity is a +4, and I'm proficient in it, which is a +2. So by math, that's a 25.
All right. So you start. You don't make the jump quite, but you quickly gain your balance, and you just reach out for the platform in front of you, and you're able to pull yourself up just fine.
Okay.
Yep. And then there's a series of platforms that you can start making more checks for. But now you're watching Ertlebee just run up the stairs, and you're all welcome to make your way back over to the stairs and just follow suit and let Tompkins do whatever the hell he's going to do.
Do that.
Roberto made the jump. I rolled pretty high. So.
Yeah. Anyone who made the jump and doesn't and wants to continue forward, there's a series of ropes you can climb, and then eventually. Over here, there's a series of ropes you'll climb, and then eventually the gravity will flip you. And as long as you hold on tight enough, you'll just flip over and then start making your descent.
Is anything coming out that door?
What's up?
Sorry. Is anything coming out that door that you slam shut?
The door is shaking. So when you guys went up to the door, it opened effortlessly. Now, it really feels like it's reinforced. But you can see it giving away, and every time the door shakes, it's not just that the door shakes, but the infrastructure in that area starts to warp and disorient itself and become more and more weird. So you all eventually make your way to where Tompkins is at the other door at the top of the building, which is now the bottom of the building because of your perspective. And he throws the door open, and he says he holds it open for you all.
What's on the other side?
It's clear streets. Nothing interesting over here.
Can I turn to Tompkins and just basically be like, I know there's something coming through that door, and you're in danger. Come with us so that we can help. So that you can live.
Yeah. Let us rebuild your home.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy check.
Or persuasion. Persuasion, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I offer help in any way? Just come on.
Yeah. So you can you can offer Megan advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hyping her up.
Okay. So the first one was a 10. And then the next one was a 9, so it was a 10.
10 plus.
That's it. It was just 10.
All right. You actually beat his roll. So he kind of looks at you and he says, "I'll go with you too, and we'll see how far we get together."
Oh.
But
awesome.
then he stands next to 10.
And I look down at him and I say, with all that is within my ability, I will make sure no harm comes to you.
It's kind of his chest kind of rises up, and he looks kind of a little inspired and a little more assured. And a little bit of life kind of returns to his eyes that you didn't see there before.
I look down to Ertlebee and I just kind of quietly say aside, between you and me, I wouldn't make that gamble. He looks pretty fragile.
I give her like a Lucille Bluth style wink where it's like, really slow. I know. And she's talking
like
about.
the sly, unsubtle wink that.
Yeah, really slow.
All right. So you take off down the cobblestone streets, and he's kind of darting left and right, taking you down different streets. He seems to know exactly where he's going. And at one point, you start running down a kind of what you think you must be like the market area. There's lots of shops with big, beautiful window displays. And you keep running forward, and then suddenly you can hear this kind of garbled, like this, kind of like all around you, and those masses break into the area. Like one comes out of a building, one comes through a window, not like it shatters the window, like it pours itself out of the reflection of the window, and then one more comes from behind you. It kind of spills out from an alleyway. And they're really struggling to kind of start pulling themselves together and take a form. And Tompkins gets really close to Tin, and he's on the verge of... You're worried that he's going to break, and then he takes a deep breath, and he's simply there with you. So, these shapeless, wild masses of, like I said, competing hues are trying to form together and gain some semblance of organization. Tin, what do you do?
How far away are they from us?
Well,
or are they surrounding us? Or
right. There's one behind you, and then there's two in front of you blocking your path. And when they first came into the area, it seemed like they were about 60, 70 feet. The problem is the moment they enter the area, everything starts to warp. The street starts to close in on you where you once had plenty of space. You probably had about like 100 feet of road width-wise. It suddenly starts to constrict to about 10 feet worth of space width-wise. The buildings are stretching taller and taller and then kind of looming over you and closing, and you get the very suffocating sense of claustrophobia. If any of you were claustrophobic, this would be an almost unbearable situation. So now they're really about 40 feet from you as everything kind of closes in together and you start having less and less room. It stops. It doesn't keep constricting. But once they get in there, the whole place just takes this terrible twist. So, yeah, about 40 feet. There's one 40 feet away from you behind you, and then two more 40 feet in front of you.
I think normally I would try and take out my gun and try and like take them out, but since they're so close, and now that I am burdened with protecting the little bitch,
it's just doing his best.
No, I know. I'm actually not that bad of a person. I just, I just caught me on a bad day. Grumpy dreamer today. I take my glaive and try and like basically keep him as far away from all of the enemies. So position myself like a roadblock.
What you can do is you can set a condition to allow yourself to act. It's called like readying your action essentially.
I guess, yeah. So I guess is if they charge me, then I will attack. Is that kind of yeah?
Yeah. If anyone threatens you, then you'll instantly go for the attack. But okay, that's no problem. So after that, the creature, two of these masses that are in front of you, they run forward and they both charge Roberto. So both of them kind of just swim and move and shift, and they bear down on you. The first one, it reaches out and it forms these claws out of its chest, and it takes a swipe at you, and it just meets your armor. Nothing. The second one takes a swipe at you, and now that you've kind of seen what they're capable of, you're not even going to let them touch your armor, because the second one you step back from, and it doesn't even get close. After that, we have Ertlebee.
Yes. So, are there decorative trees or like decorative vines around on any of the shops?
There is one particular shop that is selling used vines.
So,
It's a very rare shop.
Ertlebee has been a long-time gardener, and though she's never confided this in anyone, not even her now deceased husband Otto, she believes she can make plants do things she wants them to. Specifically, the word she's come up for this is entangle, which the plants can go and grab things and slow them down. And so in this moment, she sees all these creatures, they're all around, and she summons her will and tells that used vine store with all of her gardening knowledge to please kindly grab some of the amorphous blob creatures and just try and slow them down a little.
Yep. So you kind of just how do you cast? What does it look like when you cast? Is it just merely like suggestions and stuff? Because like this particular spell requires you to be able to both speak and use semantic components, which means you have to move your hands or do something. Like you have to be able to gesture and speak in order to cast the spell.
Yes. So Ertlebee claps her hands and says, "Grass is green, vines are green, all things green, and in between, I command thee." And she makes some wiggly fingers. I'm gonna go for the two that are ganging up on Roberto, as long as it doesn't get him.
Correct. Yeah,
Like,
you can cast it just far enough so that like it invades their space, but no further. You can put that right on their edge. So
I do exactly that.
So the windows burst open and the vines race forward, properly encouraged by the wiggling of your fingers. And I'm going to go ahead and roll saving throws for them. So the vines entangle both of them. The area is afflicted as the vines not only try to grab them, but spread out and break in and out of the ground over and over again, making a very treacherous area for anyone that steps into it. The first one expands itself and forces itself free, but the other one doesn't. So one of them is completely tangled up in these vines, unable to properly shift its way out. The other one just broke right out. Now it's still in difficult terrain, but it's not hampered in any way. Brummelstone?
How nice.
I see that there are two near my brother, and I just like this very much. I reach into my cloak and pull out an orb. And I run my fingers over it and start chanting in Dwarven. It looks as though I'm weaving time. And I shoot out 3 magic missiles. And I will aim them all at the 3 that looked like it was jumping out free.
Okay.
'Cause that seems to be the biggest threat.
Yep.
And, take them out one by one. So,
Yep, so your sphere kind of glows and resonates, and then these giant balls of force rip out of them and fly unerringly. How much?
Okay. So 9.
Those slam into him, or slam into it, and then it kind of pulls itself together, and you can feel the full focus of its attention on you. And as it looks at you, it kind of takes this weird shape. The shape that it takes gives you the impression that it's no longer just a ball of chaos. It feels like some kind of sickly disease, and it fills you with a terror that you are not comfortable sharing with the rest of the group. After that, we go to Vassa.
All right. If the way I understand it, both the 2 creatures that are entangled, I can't actually physically reach them without being entangled myself.
You can. Ertlebee placed the edge of the spell at their feet, but no further. So like most of the spell is happening behind them. You can very easily get up on them, if you will.
Okay.
But since there's only 10 feet of space, you and Roberto will be the front lines. Like no one else could close rank with those two because of the tight streets and the claustrophobic like atmosphere.
Okay.
Sorry, I should also say too, Roberto, you would also feel a certain level of uncomfortability when you see that.
Okay, well, I would like to use my rapier, which is a 1d8, and I would like to attack the one that Brimstone attacked. Okay, so that was an 8 plus dexterity, which is plus 4, and then proficiency, which is plus 2, so that's a 14.
Nice. So, you pull out your rapier, and when you attack, you know that you did not swing the best possible. You did not take the best stance you can, but because of your dexterity, you're able to correct yourself mid-course, and then you just really sink your blade into it. Okay. Go ahead and roll your weapon damage, and then add your dexterity bonus, and then also add a d6 to that.
So that's a 3 plus 4, which is 6 damage, and then I roll a d6, which comes out to a 2, so that's 8 damage in total.
Yep. All right. So you run it through, and it was not expecting you to do that. It looked like it was ready for something else for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but like once you run it through, pieces of it kind of fall off, like they drip off, and it looks like it's even less substantial than it was before. After that, we have Roberto.
Okay, so I draw my short sword, and I slice at the nightmare creature that is not entangled. Okay, 12.
No, you just miss.
Okay.
It kind of reshapes itself around you a little bit, and still has that kind of like diseased look to it as it looks at you just for a second.
Damn.
The other one that's behind everybody is going to charge directly at Tin. So Tin, you can go ahead and take your attack now.
Time to get all up in that business.
Catchphrase.
Okay, so it's a 15.
15 altogether?
Uh-huh.
Yep, that hits. Yep. Yeah, so you basically kind of spin the glaive once real fast, and then take a step forward and slash it right into its midsection. How much damage do you do?
I do 6 damage.
Do you have any bonuses because of your strength?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
What's your strength?
17.
That would be a +3.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well then, 9.
All right. So, it's a really good slash into it. You take a piece of it away, and then once you kind of pull your glaive out, it rises up a little bit, and it takes the form of kind of almost like a beetle-like creature with 2 tentacles. And you've heard stories of this before. You're not sure that it's a rust monster. You're just terrified that it might be. And new round, or no, its turn now. It's going to attack you. Those kind of wispy tentacles slash at you, and you're so terrified of them that you jump well out of the way, and they crash into the ground, and then they recoil and pull back and kind of wither around them again. It's a new round, and it is Tiny Tin's turn.
Oh, again. Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna stand up and attack again with the glaive. The glaive. Oh, son of a. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. I got an 8 total. I'm a little shaken.
You jump back, and you can't really regain your footing in time. You take a wild swing. It totally anticipates. It just kind of ducks underneath it. The creature that is not entangled, that's kind of sickly looking and disease-ridden. Well, so the way this works, it's going to start moving through you, the people up front, as it tries to charge through your ranks, and it's heading towards Brummelstone.
You want to get me?
So if you'd like, you only get one bonus action per round. So you can use your bonus reaction to take this attack if you would like.
Yes. Okay. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh.
Critical hit.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, shite!
It
The
happened.
first one.
This is
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be
true.
epic.
First crit of the first crit of the game.
Fuck. I rolled a 3 plus 4 is 7. Piercing.
Yep. So 14 damage. Yep. All right. So you dive forward and you bring your sword into it, and then you pull it out, and you see like you've almost like caused a rupture as pieces of it start spilling out everywhere. Vassa?
And I get a 3, womp womp, which plus 6 makes a 9.
Yeah, unfortunately no. So it kind of corrects itself, and it just weaves right around you and comes right at Brummelstone.
No!
So it reaches forward, and its claws try to dig into you. It's only a glancing blow, and you take 3 damage.
All right.
But now it's right over you, and you are terrified that even that little bit of damage may do something to you because of what you think it is.
Mm-hmm. Have turned ashen white and terrified.
The next one is going to continue trying to attack Roberto. It takes another wild swing at you, but especially because it's constricted, it really just doesn't seem to be able to bear its full strength on you. So you're safe right now. Ertlebee?
Ertlebee is appraising the situation, and while she's been taught to only use her gun as a last resort, she sees this is pretty dire. So she gets out her gun. She aims at the one that's leaning over him, and prepares to fire her gun. Ertlebee rolls a 4. Ertlebee is lucky, though. That's her feat. I have an inexplicable luck that seems to kick in at just the right moment.
Is that moment now?
1 luck point to roll an additional d20.
Would you like to use one?
Yes, I would. All right, 7 plus 4 is 11. Plus 2 is 13.
That is a hit. So you pull your revolver out, and you take this kind of wild shot, and you pull the trigger whenever you feel like it's time to pull the trigger, and you're very lucky in the fact that as you swung your arm wildly up, it dead center hits it. So go ahead and roll your damage.
I looked so cool as I did that too. All right, so it's 2d8. I just got a 9, so clearly I'm using the wrong dice here. Like, that can't be.
That lucky.
Yeah.
So I do 14.
So you kind of just like almost like whip that bullet at the creature,
So
and
cool.
it rips right through it. And as it does, at first it causes it to like kind of like force itself into glass, and it starts to shatter. And then those remnants, those shards, give way to kind of a liquid goo, and it splatters all over the place. And so that it is gone now. Brummelstone?
Nice.
Well, with fear in my eyes as I witness the past return, I look over at the old lady and I go, "You'll have to teach me your magic someday."
Oh, dearie. And
then
even for you.
Yeah, and I see Tiny Tin over there, and so I'm going to cast Ray of Frost at the one in front of her to hopefully help it slow it down. 14 to hit.
That's a hit.
I do 1d8 of cold damage and reduce its speed by 10. So 2 points of damage. And tell them maybe get some people out of there.
So yeah, you kind of like hold your orb forward, and this thin ray of like frosty energy hits it, and then you can see it kind of coat around it. And when it turns and looks at you, that shape that it had kind of gives way to this kind of bubonic, diseasey type look again, and it looks like it's focused purely on you. Vassa?
Yeah, so I'm gonna also attack the same one that Brimstone did. Okay, that's a 6 plus a 6. That makes a 12.
That is unfortunately a miss.
Gosh darn it.
So it just anticipates you at the last second. Roberto.
Okay, so there's 2 dudes left. One of them is next to me, and the other one's far away.
I just shout over him like, "Don't worry, I got this."
But wait, so one of
It's
them.
a 4 job.
Okay, I would like to pull out my longbow and take a shot at it. So, 18. Okay, 18 plus. Okay, so that's 24. 24.
Yep, you overachieve.
Yeah. So, and then okay, so damage is 11.
All right. So, you drop your melee weapons and quickly pull your bow out, and seeing that this thing is focusing on your brother, you go right through the middle of it, and parts of it are wrapped around the arrow as you kind of rip to like the midsection a little bit. It looks at you, and it seems to take a very weird shape in that it's got that kind of diseased look, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the tentacles that were there previously that were after Tin kind of come out of the sides.
Oh.
And it has kind of both of those aspects now, and it looks like it's ready to bear down on you. It's going to move away from you, Tin. So go ahead, if you'd like to take an opportunity attack, you could.
Yes, I would like that very much.
That's sweet.
12.
12. Almost. Like you swing and it just barely gets around your blade.
And then I just shake my fist at it. It's like, yeah, get out of here.
It does not go straight for Roberto, though. Instead, it moves towards the window next to it, and it pours itself into the reflective surface, and then you watch as it pours itself out of a shard of glass nearby Roberto, and then goes for the attack. But it takes a wild swing. It didn't really orient itself right when it came out. New round, Tin?
How far away are they from me now that they've moved away?
Oh, they're 40 feet now. Penalties.
Okay, so then I'm just like, screw this, getting out the big guns. Wink. And yeah, I'm just gonna get out my rifle and take aim at the one that was frosty and like ran away from me. I was like, try and get away from this sucker. And then I guess I'll roll to see if I hit.
With the zinger or the rifle?
With the... Or both. Nat 20 on the zinger.
Its feelings are hurt.
It takes D10 pride damage.
Yeah.
So it's 16.
16's a hit.
Mother of pearl. Alright, there's 4. 8. This thing's getting fucked up. Alright, 12 plus is 15. 15 damage.
15 damage.
Yeah.
Alright. So the same kind of a crack of thunder that came from Ertlebee's wild shot is reminiscent of this attack, where you watch as the glaive falls to the ground, as the large stick comes off of her back, and just with barely any time to think, you see Tin already have the shot lined up. That kind of explosion and that kickback fills the air, especially in such a tight area. And you watch as the creature is hit with whatever force came out of that weapon, and it just immediately shatters and then splatters.
360 no scope, baby.
Damn.
The last creature that's there is going to continue trying to attack Roberto, and it shouldn't have bothered. It takes another wild swing, and the DM's morale sinks. Ertlebee?
Ertlebee still got her gun. There's one dude left.
Yep.
She's taking aim for it. Come on, D20.
Ertlebee's got a gun.
I was going to go there, but I didn't want to sing.
It's okay, I'll go there.
Ertlebee's got a 2. I think this app is rigged.
I think it knows exactly what character it's rolling for.
Don't you have that inspiration? I mean, not to say
Oh yes, I do have inspiration. All right. I roll again. I got a 1. This app, I'm never using this app again. Never again. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
So,
I'm sticking with my 2, and then I'm gonna remember. Is it +4 for my dexterity?
Yep.
Yes. So I have a 6.
Plus proficiency bonus.
Oh, I have an 8.
Unfortunately, you have an 8 is not the correct answer. So, while you know yourself that you're just having a bad day, the rest of the group's suspicions were confirmed.
I killed that other one. They should remember that. I also entangled everybody. Are people keeping track here? I'm allowed to miss.
Brummelstone.
Well, I tire of these things, so I will cast Chromatic Orb. I'll pull out there the hand stuff and throw a 4-inch diameter spear. I'm going to do lightning damage. That was a 4, so I'm going to use my inspiration and roll again. 10, so...
Wow, no.
Not even when it's entangled? Aw. I can't hit a stationary
You know,
object.
that's a fair question. I don't know if you know Ertlebee off the top of the head. I don't believe that it gives you anything extra in that regard, but I'll double check. Nope, nothing. It just holds it in place.
That's fine. I don't deserve to hit. Not with these rolls.
Yeah, so you kind of fire off, but it wasn't well aimed, unfortunately.
I was trying to throw around Roberta.
Yeah. Vassa?
Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and roll to attack. Let me see if I can do it this time. Also, it says that I can actually, with my sneak attack, I can quote-unquote assist a comrade. Do I have to pick that beforehand, or do I...
What is that one again? I'm sorry?
So sneak attack, once per turn, get to do extra d6 damage as long as you have advantage and you're in melee and you have a finesse or range weapon. Also, you can give an extra d6 damage if you're right next to a team member who's fighting the same opponent. Level 1 sneak attack for rogue.
You can deal an extra 1d6 damage to one creature. Yeah, I'm not seeing that you can gift it.
Okay, alright, that's fine. Let me just erase that because it's not true. And I just put that in, and I was like, oh, Pedro will never know. Right. So rolling d20.
My memento tattoo says not to believe your lies. So.
And I get a freaking 6, which plus 6 makes another 12. Jesus, man.
Really, really close, though. Like, you were just catching the last of the space it had before you hit it.
It's like the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Can I use my little point of inspiration to re-roll?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ah. It's a 4. It was I'm rolling on a Kleenex, and it tipped a little bit, and for a brief second I saw 18, and then it went to 4.
You'll need this. The tissue flies up as you get a 4.
No.
Ertlebee just wants to point out that everyone is sucking as bad as she did. So let's not be ageist here.
We just don't want to make you feel bad. Oh, she missed. We should all just play.
Roberto?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So you said that I dropped my sword to draw my bow. So what happens if I want to pick it up?
It's a free action.
It's a free action.
Yeah, you can pick up stuff for free.
I guess I drop my longbow and pick up my sword.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Dating a
and-
pile of weapons at your
I know,
Yeah.
just dropping everything.
And there's
and
a chance I have that slightly wrong, so we'll go with it
Okay.
now, and then we'll fix it later if I'm wrong.
Okay, for sure. And then so I turn to the last thing and I stab in what I think it's its face.
All right.
So I'm gonna roll. 24.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love these. I love this dice today.
Ertlebee shaking her head. No, no.
I,
There's an app for that, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Can't beat the real thing.
and then 9 piercing.
So yeah, you lunge forward and take a piece of it with you, and it also takes that form of that kind of like weird, kind of diseased, wispy tentacle monstrosity as it raises itself over you.
I don't like it. Boy.
Pass.
Stop.
New round, 10.
So I'm gonna try aiming at the other one. Oh, son of a. What is 10? I can't add.
All right, so yeah, you kind of take a wild shot, but you couldn't get your footing or
Yeah,
whatever
I
excuse
got-
you want to give.
Yeah, I got cocky. It's.
Is that a pun? All right, so its turn. It's going to bring itself to bear on Roberto. There's no reason to talk about it. No reason to dwell. It cannot hit you at all. It's rethinking its life.
You're just all a bunch of misses.
Yeah, pretty much.
Imagine we're just all wildly swinging at each other, like.
Windmilling?
I just imagine there's vendors in the used find shop like, what is going on?
We were brought here both secretly. We actually have no combat training whatsoever.
Chosen warriors, you have been
This is
selected
it.
for reasons unknowns to even me.
Patches is just like shaking his head, like, God damn it.
What the fuck have I done?
I just think maybe he used up all the good ones. Like they're like he's sent out teams of 5 and they've all like died.
We're like the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
Bottom of the barrel.
yeah, the 16th group. Just like these guys gotta go.
There's going to be a moment where you're like pulling out the coin from the fountain. This one's mine. Reliving your Goonie moments, scene by scene. Ertlebee?
Ertlebee is going for the redemption here. She takes aim at Lucy Shadow Monster. Alright, I got an 8 plus 4 plus 2. I got a 14.
That's a hit.
Yeah, Grandma.
Alright, now I'm rolling for my 8 and my other 8. Alright, and then it's plus dex. I shoot for 13.
Go, Grandma. Go, Grandma. Go, Grandma.
Redeemed.
It's your birthday again and again and again.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that familiar crack of thunder, and a whole chunk of it rips off and gets pulled off by the bullet and kind of shatters and then falls into kind of that liquid, sickly goo. Brummelstone?
Well, I'm tired of dealing with magic. It doesn't seem to be working as much as I want it to. Also, I'm kind of out of spells. So I pull out my Warhammer, my father's Warhammer, the classic Hammer Storms Warhammer, and I'm just going to bash it in its face. Cause...
All right, so you run forward and Warhammer to bear. Go ahead and give me a roll.
20.
Nice.
Right. Then give me damage.
9.
So what you notice is that when you do this, you come and you crash into it as hard as you think you possibly can. And where once it seemed like it was taking this kind of attack like any other, now it seems like it's fortified itself against this. And you don't feel like you're getting the full effect of your attack.
Oh.
Vassa.
Here we go again.
You can do it.
I mean, I get it. Like, my rapier is like a skinny blade. It's not like I'm swinging a paddle, which has more surface area. So, it's a little hard. But here I go. I'm just like really frustrated, and I just make a swing, and I get a 12, which plus 6 makes it 18.
That is a very clear hit. Yep.
All right.
So
Fucking fine.
thrown off balance, it's wide open, and you stab right through it.
All right, and now I'm gonna roll for damage, which is a D8. And boop, 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 boop. It's a 7, which plus 4 makes a math
11.
11.
Oh, I thought it was like an audience participation thing.
So yeah, you charge for it, and the same thing. Where once it was just super easy to like, once you actually connect with it, it was like just tearing through cloth. You find a resistance you weren't ready for. You still deal damage, but you're not getting the full effect of what you did. It seems to really have fortified itself against you. Roberto.
Fortified against us.
Yeah, both of those melee attacks seem to not really punch through it like they wanted to.
It's weird.
Is it wearing a tiny house?
I would like to use my wrecking ball.
Dear God, it's a duplex. I'm gonna foreclose this bitch.
We don't have the correct permits for this.
Yeah.
I can't really do anything else besides just stabbity stab more. So I got a 12.
Yeah, you almost come in contact with it, but it reshapes itself. New round, 10.
All right, going for the gold.
Do it.
You want me to add the Olympic music here?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I get a 16.
That's a hit.
All right, here we go. Okay, 8, 7. This thing's gonna be real fucked up. It's at 18 total damage.
Alright.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so huge crack of thunder, and you watch as this one also just turns to glass and then shatters into goo and splatters all over. And,
Headshot.
Tompkins finally kind of comes out from underneath you.
Yeah, where has that guy been?
He's hiding the whole time, and he looks around and he says, "All right, quickly, let's go." And
Oh yeah, sure. Like we don't need to catch our breath or anything.
Just like that.
Let's just go. Let's go.
Welcome.
he takes you where originally you guys seem to be heading kind of a southwest. He suddenly starts taking you southeast, and he runs through a couple streets. You can hear that chaos kind of growing and building. You can hear, unfortunately, you can hear people who are not as lucky as you, and that's kind of rough, considering the roles, who are falling victim. But Tompkins insists you got to keep coming, and he takes you into a park, and he runs to a certain tree, and he says, "Quickly, climb inside." And he climbs up the tree.
Oh.
I climb inside the tree.
Yeah, I follow him.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Seems
got it.
trustworthy.
Do this all the time.
Yeah, so you all climb into the tree, and you get about maybe 10, 15 feet up, and then even though you didn't see on the outside, this area is expansive, and inside is a beautiful, well-made and well-kept treehouse. It has one large floor. It encompasses the entirety of the trunk, and he kind of opens up a hatch and crawls up it and brings you guys in. He goes, "This is my favorite treehouse. We should be safe here for a little bit." There's crayon drawings in there. Anyone with a perception higher than a 14 would notice, though, that the drawings are by different people. This might not be just a place for one person.
It was for the other teams that were here before us that didn't work out.
The A team, the B team, the C team.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
noticed
pictures of them in patches, high-fiving each other.
almost there. One of them says, With the bloody paw print.
There's like a blurred out lion at one point, and it's like it could be someday a full grown lion, but somebody has shorted it
Like-
so that it's
Never mind. And he just takes a moment to sit down and catch his breath, and the rest of you can catch your breath here if you'd like as well. Thanks for listening to another episode of World Walkers. You can find us at worldwalkerspodcast.com. You can also follow us over at Twitter at worldwalkerspod and Facebook at facebook.com/worldwalkerspod. If you like the podcast and you want to help support it, head on over to patreon.com/worldwalkers. We've got some good stuff over there, some rewards, some goals we're trying to work towards, and your support means that we can devote a lot more time to creating and publishing more episodes. Once again, I want to take a moment to thank our friends over at BattleBards, not just for the amazing support they've given us, but also for providing us with some of the audio that you heard today. Go take a look over at battlebards.com. They have everything from sound effects and NPC dialogue to beautiful music that's going to bring your tabletop game to the next level. I also want to thank Sirenscape as well for some of the audio you heard in today's episode. You can check them out over at sirenscape.com.